Hello, fellow faculty members and all ships at sea. It's everybody's favorite talking head again, Diane Langston, this time bringing you an e-learning update on the year of the game and talking really fast. Fortunately, I have my role model close at hand.
This is Max Headroom.
For inspiration. The first thing you might ask me is, what do you mean by the year of? In the e-learning area, we're going to be choosing a theme every year around which we organize some of our development activities, our trainings such as Faculty Academy and our colloquia sessions that we hold, and contests. Woohoo! So why did we pick games as our theme for this year? Well, personally, I find the research in this area very compelling. But other people took a look at this study and said it might have been a little more believable if the women in the study had actually been asked which they liked better, online games or sex. So in the face of naysayers like that, we looked around to see if there were some other reasons in order to focus on games. And as it happened, there were 4. The first one is that we are going to acquire a new tool this year called StudyMate Author, and it is an add-on product that works with Respondus. And it uses some of the same Respondus database items that you already have if you're a Respondus user in order to create quizzes for your classes on Vista. StudyMate allows you to take those same quiz items in that same format and create 10 different interactive games for the students to use as study aids. One of them is a crossword puzzle, another one is a two-player Jeopardy style game, and some other features and facilities that Jeff Lennick will be talking about at our in-service session on Thursday. So that's the first reason. We're going to get a new tool that's going to allow us to actually do something in the games area. The second reason is that games are getting a lot of attention right now in the popular press, and there's a lot of conversation and research into games and what they might be able to do for us. For example, when this book itself was published, Reality is Broken, Why Games Make Us Better and How They Can Change the World, the title by itself initiated a whole new level of discussion about games. So what did Jane McGonigal mean when she said that reality is broken? Well, she takes a look at these 4 aspects of gaming and their benefits, and she finds that in reality we have a hard time getting these things anymore. The first is a chance to have satisfying work, to know our objectives, see our results. The second thing is the sense that we're learning something and getting better at something. The third is time spent with people we like in ways that make us like and trust them more. And the fourth is a sense of epic meaning or community, which is simply the idea that we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. So if we're having trouble finding these things that we would all like to have in reality, then perhaps that means that our current reality is broken and maybe games can help us out with that. The second thing that she found in her research is this remarkable fact, that gamers spend 80% of their time failing. Now, if we said that about our students, that our students spend 80% of their time failing, that would probably not be a good observation, because it would probably mean that they get discouraged and quit and leave. But in games, we're more likely to take on tough challenges and persist in the face of failure. That would be a very good quality to have. So games might be a good avenue for trying to solve difficult problems. We have a handy-dandy 4-minute interview with this author, Jane McGonigal, that's available on Amazon, which I'm not going to play today, but she does have a lot more to say about this topic. The third thing is that in addition to all the kind of popular press about it, all the buzz around games and what they might do, we've got something going on in the game world that is different now. And this book kind of suggests what that is. It's called A Casual Revolution, Reinventing Video Games and Their Players. This quotation here from the book is a little too long to bother with, really. He takes a lot of words to say that we're at an important moment in the history of video games in which video games are moving away from specialized equipment and deep knowledge and understanding of computer aspects, as well as the immersion in a story that might involve a good deal of violence. Video games are moving out of that setting and onto everybody's iPhone, and this is bringing on a big change. The guy does make a couple of good points, though, when he talks about the casual revolution. He's looking specifically at 2 trends. The first is the development of mimetic interface games like the Wii, in which you imitate or undertake mimesis in terms of making exactly the same moves in space that you would make if you were doing the activity. So any of you guys who have done Wii tennis or Wii golf know that you actually move your arm in order to move things on the screen. So that's a mimetic interface game. The second thing is downloadable casual games. It's not that casual games are new. Casual games have been around for a while, but now that they're downloadable, many more people are playing them because they have their iPhone at the doctor's office and they open up a little game to play on it. So a market is springing up specifically for these. You can see how powerful that market is becoming by looking at a recent news story explaining that Electronic Arts, which is one of the gigantic video game vendors, is buying a tiny little company called PopCap. The only thing that PopCap makes is casual games, and you find a lot of their games sitting right on your iPhone or other handheld device. So what are these things called casual games that seem to be setting the gaming world on its ear? Well, they have some things in common. Typically, they're easily accessible. The Wii games can be purchased in stores, for example. Other games can be played online without doing anything to download them at sites like MS Games. And you can get them at download sites if you want to put them on your handheld device like Apple's App Store. And you can find them on Facebook and other social networking sites where you may already be in the course of pursuing your social networking. The games can typically be played in short bursts and do not require a long time commitment. They do not require knowledge of a story world in order to play. You don't need a good bit of background typically to enter into these games. They typically have less violent content than many role-playing or story games such as World of Warcraft or Grand Theft Auto, and they typically have a social dimension in which players can work together, they can share, or they can compete in games such as Mafia Wars or Farmville, which are two games that are found on Facebook. What do casual games have in common with more elaborate games like World of Warcraft? The first is that even though you don't need to spend a lot of time playing them, you can play them in short bursts, they still reward increasing levels of skill. And that is sort of the addictive quality of casual games. You come back because you want to play at it, get better at it, and achieve some additional levels. They also provide enough options for players to create a flow state, a state of very deep engagement, about which we'll say more in our session at In-Service. So those are some of the qualities of casual games. A very typical casual game is Bejeweled by PopCap. It's a wildly popular, massive, worldwide seller that is a very typical match 3 game in which you line things up and you match 3 that are alike and you get points that way, and the screen redraws when you match 3, and you're able to move up different levels once you've matched enough sets of 3 in one level. And that's one of the ways that it rewards increasing levels of skill. I have a link here to it. I can actually play it online from this link, but I'm not going to do it in today's talk, which is intended to be just a short update. However, another game that is provided by PopCap is called Plants vs. Zombies, and I have a short trailer here for it that reminds me of the academic deans by the time the term starts. So clearly that's something that you need to watch out for, and in the game Plants vs. Zombies, you have to have planted some plants that help you ward off the zombies. The last development that caused us to select games as our theme for this year is the development of something called edutainment, that combination or merging of the engaging qualities of games with the delivery of training or information that is useful to students in the real world and as they go on and live their lives. We have a good article here called Game-Based Learning, what it is, why it works, and where it's going. We have a number of centers around the country that are dedicated to advancing the game-related aspects of learning. This lady is from Carnegie Mellon University. She's provided this nice article on game-based learning. And if I scroll down to the table, she's got a lot of good stuff in here, but I'm going to skip directly to the table. This is one way that she summarizes what she thinks game-based learning has to offer. If you look along the left, you see that our traditional training, including lectures and online tutorials, are cost-effective. They don't have a lot of risk to the student. They use standardized assessments that allow student-to-student comparisons, and that's all good, but they're often not very engaging. Hands-on training is where you normally get the high level of engagement. You get that immediate feedback on the things that you do. You can tailor the pace to the individual student, and it's easy to transfer the learning to your real-world environment. Not to mention, as we've said numerous times, the learner is actively engaged. So along the right side, you can see that she attributes all those qualities to game-based learning. One of the other reasons I opened up this article is so that you can see a little bit about her. Her job is Director of Edutainment for Carnegie Mellon University's Entertainment Technology Center. So they have a whole center there that's researching this combination of games with learning. Her work utilizes simulation and video game techniques and technologies for more effective learning. She has also founded her own spin-off business, which is very common at Carnegie Mellon and other research institutions, that delivers to corporations game-based training technology that increases productivity and reduces costs associated with safety. So she's working right now directly in this area where we are crossing up games with training and learning. Another place where we see this crossing up taking place is represented by this book, a book called Total Engagement, Using Games and Virtual Worlds to Change the Way That People Work and Businesses Compete. And so this whole book looks at the application of games and virtual worlds to business as distinct from edutainment or its application to education. So all of these things taken together, the fact that we're going to get StudyMate this year, the fact that there's sort of increased awareness among the whole population, the casual revolution in which your casual games are coming up to the fore in a way that they never have before, a lot more people are playing and are aware of them, and the rise of this thing called edutainment, these factors make this a great time to have the year of the game in e-learning. The nice thing about having the year of the game is that we don't have to know all about it now. We have a year in which to work together, share information, find interesting articles, and let each other know about them. We'll have a resource page on the e-learning part of the website where we have a list of interesting information and articles, and we'll have an opportunity for brown bags and our normal colloquia events. So we are definitely looking forward to finding out ways that games may be able to play a powerful role for us in our e-learning program here at GHC. That's what the year of is for. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.